Good afternoon, class. My name is Keith Oakes, and I did my author and illustrator presentation and project on Brian Selznick. He is, like I said, an author and an illustrator, which is absolutely fantastic. The reason I chose him was because I was the last one, or pretty close to the last one in the class to choose an author. And so as I was going through, a lot of authors were taken, and he was the first one that I clicked on. I made a real quick Google search of him, and I absolutely just fell in love with his illustrations. I was like, okay, I have to get to know this guy. I have to understand, what he does. It's truly amazing, and I just was in awe. So it was just an obvious choice for me to choose him. Brian Selznick is a man who was born in New Jersey during 1966. Which makes him actually pretty young. He when he first started doing books, he was 33 years old when he came out with his first book, I believe. No, not even that much. 60. Actually, 25. Wow, it's amazing. 25 was the first book that he came out with, which was the Houdini box, and he wrote and illustrated that book. And I mean, it's truly amazing how well of an illustrator he is, but also he's an amazing writer, which makes him even more compelling and interesting to read and follow. After he did the Houdini box, he got a series of jobs doing illustrations for various other authors, and he actually became pretty high demand because of the amount of detail and just amazing illustrations that he did. One person that was very influential in his life was his boss, Steve Geck, who he worked with at Eeyore's children's books. And Steve Geck now is an editor at Green Willow Publishing, but he really taught Brian Selznick about children's books and what's great about them, and it made Brian Selznick appreciate them. If any of you are going to recognize any books that he's ever done, the one he's most known for is The Invention of Hugo Cabret. It was an absolutely amazing book that I think everybody should read. I could not recommend it more. His inspiration for the type of book that he really wanted to start writing was Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. And he absolutely loved this book because he said that the pictures just made the words just disappear, and the pictures would take up a whole page, and you would just be focusing on just the pictures and what they mean and what they are saying. And he absolutely loved that. And so he really took that style and brought it into his own, because a lot of his books are illustration based with tons of illustrations, and his particular favorite thing about Where the Wild, or about that type of book where the pictures take up a large portion of it, is the fact that he said it's like a series of silent films being put into pages, and you don't hear anything, you don't read anything, you're just using your imagination to see what how the story is developing and what is happening during the story, which he absolutely loved. His most famous book was The Invention of Hugo Cabret. It was a book about a boy who was an orphan, and he would take care of the clock that was in a busy Paris train station, and he lived in that train station undercover in the walls where nobody knew he was. He would steal to get various supplies and food and stuff like that to live. This book was truly fantastic. It's upwards of 570 pages, but don't be intimidated by that, because you can read this book in a day. A lot of people are even stating that they can read it in an hour, because there's just such a large volume of just absolute masterpiece drawings in here that are just so detailed. I mean, as you can see, the one in the middle bottom of the store is just unbelievable the amount of detail that he went into in drawing with just a pencil to, you know, illustrate, you know, his mind and put it on the page. One great thing about him is, like I said, he loves silent films, and in the bottom right you'll see a picture of a moon with a guy's face on it, and then a rocket blasted into the moon. And that was actually from a silent film from 1902 called A Trip to the Moon. I would pronounce the Spanish title of it, but I don't want to embarrass myself by trying to do that. I mean, it's actually a French title. I'm so sorry. And it's very interesting because he's actually put that in several of his books, you know, different silent film pictures, and it really brings along the story and helps develop the story too, because he uses them so fantastically. Now, I know I'm talking about a lot about his illustrations, but his writing is really good too. It's really well done. He uses great descriptive language to just develop the story and to describe, you know, what he's picturing and what he's imagining, you know, going on in the world, which really makes it great. This book was made into a movie, and Brian Selznick was heavily involved in the movie and did a fantastic job telling, you know, helping the director Martin Scorsese tell the story, and, you know, in a way that he thought was deemed great. So if you get a chance to read the book and then also watch the movie, because they're both fantastic. Some different illustrations that he's done. The mechanical man in the front, in the middle, is from the book Hugo. Really great descriptive, you know, distinct and detailed work that he did there is fantastic. Also, many of you might realize or notice in the top left, you'll have Harry Potter. He was commissioned for the anniversary of the Harry Potter books to redraw all of the front pages of all the Harry Potter books, all the front covers of the Harry Potter books, and go into detail and redraw them for the anniversary series that came out. And he did an absolutely fantastic job. I couldn't be more impressed with the detail and work that he did. This was just one of the books, one of the covers. If you get a chance, go ahead and look at all the other ones, because they are great. I think you'll absolutely love them. As far as that, he's an amazing writer and illustrator. If you get a chance, look at all the stuff that he's done. It's absolutely fantastic, and I think all of you will love it. All right, have a good day.